Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
For months now, the mainstream media has desperately tried to convince us that Antifa is not real. They tried to convince us that our eyes have been lying to us and Antifa is just a fairy tale. It's simply our imagination playing tricks on us. Hey there, kids, it's me, Jimmy. Don't you worry about Antifa, it's not real. Antifa is as mythical as the racism we created. If you were not convinced by the nightly riots in Portland, if you were not convinced when the Trumper designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, if you're a student at UC Berkeley in the People's Republic of California, one of, if not the wokest university in the country, if you have been indoctrinated at UC Berkeley and they have convinced you that Antifa wasn't real, last night you finally realized they were lying to you. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. I wanted to take a moment to honor our military veterans on the one day of the year that we set aside to honor them, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. Every day in America should be Veterans Day. We have 90 days where we recognize identifiers who redefine the alphabet. Woke Christmas in June, last month, October, LGBT History Month. There are 30 other days spread throughout the year where deacons at Woke United Methodist honor the courage that it takes for men to pretend to be women. May 22nd is Harvey Milk Day, the day set aside for male birthing persons to, I guess, harvest their milk. The week of July 14th, Non-Binary Awareness Week. But we have one damn day set aside to honor the men and women who sacrificed their lives to give them the opportunity to celebrate Intersex Awareness Day. My father-in-law, Jimmy, my uncle Dusty, Andre, one of my channel members, my brother-in-law, James, and every other veteran, we appreciate your service. What happened last night at the Turning Point USA event at UC Berkeley? This is exactly what I was talking about on Sunday. I don't understand why conservative media is wasting their time fighting with each other over Israel. Israel has proven they are more than capable of taking care of themselves. Me personally, I think we should be supportive of Israel. We can argue, we can debate as to what that looks like, but that debate can wait. We should not be wasting our time splitting the party over Israel when we have real problems here at home. Last night was the final stop on the Turning Point USA college tour. The tour has been a success. To my knowledge, damn near every event has been sold out, including the event last night at UC Berkeley, also known as Woke U, the premier indoctrination center in the country. Since the death of Charlie Kirk, these Turning Point USA events have been held without a problem. There were a handful of events where a couple of wanker spankers were protesting outside the arena, but once they were offered free water to bathe, they left the premises. Last night, the event featured Rob Schneider and Christian author Dr. Frank Turek. It was also the 2-month anniversary, for lack of a better word. I don't think anniversary would be the appropriate way to describe it. Yesterday was 2 months to the day since we lost Charlie Kirk. Even if you disagreed with him, even if you thought Charlie Kirk was a far-right radical, most normal people would have enough respect to let his supporters memorialize and remember him. Unfortunately, We just have an abundance of evil in this country. There is a reason Antifa was designated as a domestic terrorist organization. Before the event last night, Antifa filled the streets of Berkeley. They were waving rainbow flags. They were waving Palestinian flags. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. I'm proud to be LGBT. According to The Guardian, and I'm sure their other friends in the mainstream media described it the same way, according to The Guardian, the Antifa rioters were mostly peaceful. Of course, they didn't describe them as Antifa. These were grassroots protesters exercising their First Amendment right to riot. Before the event, there was a fight between a Turning Point USA supporter and one of the peaceful protesters. The supporter of Turning Point USA was bleeding, I guess, from his nose, as other peaceful protesters stood around taunting him. Take a look at some of these clips. You tell me if this looks peaceful. Watch for yourself.
It isn't an organization. It is in many ways
existence, something that doesn't exist. There is no Antifa organization, so maybe that's good for social media, but it really is non-existent.
But none of them are called Antifa.
Oh, that was so peaceful. How nice would it be to have an apartment on that street? You go out on your balcony on a nice, relaxing fall afternoon, drinking your afternoon coffee as cars ride by, blasting fake gunshots. You watch as young college students fear for their lives as they hide behind concrete barricades. And as you're enjoying the gunshot-provided beat, you hear the passionate lyrics. Fuck your dead homie. Hey, white boy, you're bleeding, white boy. Couple of things here. Number one, why is Antifa doing this? Well, Casey, these are paid agitators. They are paid to cause chaos. Yeah, but why? Why are these pawns being paid to create chaos? The far left knows America will never embrace their ideas, their ideology. New York City might embrace socialism for now, but New York City doesn't come close to representing the entire country. Native New Yorkers, people born and raised in the city, also known as Americans, they did not vote for Zorro Mamdani. Zorro was able to win because people born in other countries overwhelmingly supported him. Meanwhile, the Trumper is inviting another 600,000 immigrants into the country, mainly from China, and allowing them to attend our universities, where I'm sure they won't be indoctrinated. The reason the far left uses Antifa, they are trying to intimidate you. They are trying to intimidate these college kids into silence because they know Charlie Kirk's movement. They know what Turning Point USA is doing is working. 50% of millennials, along with 50% of the kids in Gen Z, they are reading the Bible on a weekly basis. According to Jake Tapper from CNN, Gen Z is on pace to be the most conservative generation in decades. Have you ever seen Ozark on Netflix? Remember when Wendy Bird was trying to buy that casino from the old white couple? She's on the phone with Omar Navarro, the drug lord who is also her boss. During the conversation, he tells Wendy Bird, try to get what you want with diplomacy. If diplomacy doesn't work, get what you want with force. Barry Obama was the diplomacy. For 8 years, the far left tried to fundamentally transform America with diplomacy. It didn't work, so now they're using force. My question is, where in the hell is the Trumper? What happened to law and order? What happened to Antifa being a domestic terrorist organization? If Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization, how come what happened last night was allowed to happen? Shouldn't every single one of those peaceful protesters be in prison? A couple of weeks ago, Glenn Beck claimed that the FBI came to his house. They called him up one Saturday morning and asked if they could send a couple of their agents by to talk. A couple of days before, Glenn Beck published an hour-long episode detailing the entire Antifa organization, from the pawns in the streets to the organization's funding anarchy. The FBI visited with Glenn Beck to talk about the episode. Sounds good, right? The FBI was asking Glenn Beck questions that even Uncle KC knew the answers to. We're not familiar with these organizations. Can you tell us more about CARE? Can you tell us more about the Open Society? What? Excuse me? What the hell has the FBI been doing the last 10, 15, 20 years? Glenn Beck has been exposing these organizations for decades. And the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, keyword, investigation, the supposed premier investigative unit in this country. And you're sitting across from Glenn Beck asking what I consider to be beginner questions? Meanwhile, the Trumper is demanding that some doofus NFL stadium be named after him. He's talking about 50-year mortgages, which does absolutely nothing to solve the housing crisis. Matter of fact, it makes it worse. And Antifa continues to riot without consequence. This ain't it. I can only hope there's an ongoing investigation that we don't know about. I can only hope that the FBI is preparing RICO charges against the organizations responsible for funding this garbage. Taking the pawns off the streets, that's not doing a damn thing. It's great for PR, but there's a reason they are pawns. They're replaceable. Antifa and every organization associated with it needs to be dismantled. I know the FBI is capable. This is the same FBI that dismantled the mafia. The question is, are they willing? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.